Hello class, in this video we will be doing an application of the Gauss-Jordan method. Let's begin. Catherine invests $10,000 received from her grandmother in 3 ways. With one part, she buys U.S. savings bonds at an interest rate of 2.5% per year. She uses the second part, which amounts to twice the first, to buy mutual funds that offer a return of 6% per year. She puts the rest of the money into money market accounts, paying 4.5% annual interest. In the first year, she brings in a return of $470. How much money did she invest in each way? All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and highlight all the important information, starting with the last sentence, because the last sentence will help us define the variables. How much money did she invest in each way? So I have X equal the amount invested in bonds, Y equal the amount invested in mutual funds, and Z equal the amount invested in the money market. Now I'm going to go ahead and highlight the important information and create an equation that represents that sentence. Starting with, Catherine invests $10,000 received from her grandmother in 3 ways. So the only 3 ways she invested her money was with bonds, mutual funds, and the money market. So the first equation is going to be X plus Y plus Z is equal to 10,000. Next, we'll take care of the interest. So she buys U.S. savings bond at an interest rate of 2.5% per year. Mutual funds are 6% per year, and the money market is 4.5% a year. So please remember to convert those percentages to decimals. So that would be 0.025x plus 0.06y plus 0.045z. That has to equal $470. Now to find the exact solution, we do need a third equation, and it is there. I'm going to highlight that in blue. Problem states she uses the second part, which amounts to twice the first part. So I'm going to come over here and make a small chart. Here's the first part. Here's the second part. And she knows that the second part amounts to twice the first. So if she invested $1 in X, it'd be $2 in Y. $3 in X would be $6 in Y. And let's say $10 in X, that would be $20 in Y. So the relationship between these two variables is Y is equal to 2 times X, which implies that negative 2x plus y is equal to 0. Okay, so now we are ready to create the augmented matrix and use the Gauss-Jordan method to solve the problem. Okay, so let's create the matrix. Okay. Now this is a little larger of a matrix than we've been dealing with. And for 3 by 4 matrices only, use the Gauss-Jordan method to create the matrix here that I'm going to highlight in green. And notice that none of the diagonals need to be 1. They can be any number. However, we're going to make zeros in the bottom left-hand corner using the Gauss-Jordan. Then we can use Decimus.com/matrix to solve the problem. Okay, so here we go. We want to make this entry a 0. And I can do that by going 2 times the first row plus the third row. And that will give us a new row 3. So the only row that's going to change in this case is the third row. Two times 1 plus 1 times -2 is 0. And I'm going to go through each one of these again. So 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 times 1 is 3. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 times 0 is 2. And 2 times 10,000 is 20,000, plus 1 times 0 is still 20,000. Next, we want to make this a 0. So what we can do is we can apply the row operation -0.025 row 1 plus row 2 will give us a new row 2. So the only row that's going to change this time is the second row. And if we apply that row operation to the second row, we will get the following: 0, 0.035, 0.02, and 220. Okay, now before we make this entry here a 0, what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply the second row by 1,000 to get rid of all those decimals. So we're going to go row 2 times 1,000 is a new row 2. And that will make the next row operation a little bit easier. And when you do that, you'll get 0, 35, 20, and 220,000. So the final row operation we will need is 3, or -3 times row 2 plus 35 row 3, and that will give us a new row 3. Because we want to make that 3 a 0. Okay, so the only row that's going to change this time is the third row. And that will become the following. So we're going to multiply the second row by -3 and the third row by 35. So that will produce a 0 here. That will produce a 0 here, a positive 10 here, and a positive 40,000 right there. And this is as far as you have to go to solve this problem, because a 3x4 will require a bunch more row operations. And so I'm only going to require you to go to right here and then stop. Because we're going to use Decimus.com / matrix to solve this problem. Okay, so we want a new matrix. It is 3 rows by 4 columns. And now we're going to type in all of the coefficients and the constants. We're going to hit the left arrow here, and then we're going to type RREF, matrix A, and there is the solution. 2,000, 4,000, 4,000. So we can state that Catherine invested $2,000 in bonds, $4,000 in mutual funds, and $4,000 in the money market. And we are done.